Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Flutter Explain. Today we want to talk about ObjectBox. ObjectBox is a NoSQL database which has some additional functionality such as sync. First of all, we will talk about what is ObjectBox and why you should use it. Afterwards, we will have a look in a Flutter Counter app and see with a simple example how you can implement the ObjectBox and also the sync functionality in it. And last but not least, we will create together two restaurant applications. One application to create and order your dishes for the kitchen, and in the second application, we will get all the orders and the chef in the kitchen can see what you order to prepare your meal. And now, without further ado, let's get started. This video is sponsored by ObjectBox. ObjectBox is a NoSQL database where you can save your Dart objects locally. It has a high performance, and if you compare it to Hive or SQLite or any other local databases, it's very fast. ObjectBox had also an additional functionality which is sync. Sync makes it possible for us to save our Dart objects also online, which means we will save our data on a server. You can deploy your sync server on any server and also on embedded devices, such as your phone, your tablet, or any other devices. Now as next, let's have a look together on a Flutter Counter application and see how the sync server and the ObjectBox work there and how we can see synchronizing the data in this application. Now let's jump into our Flutter Counter application and see what I implemented. I use the Flutter Counter application because most of us are familiar with this application, as every time we create a new Flutter project, we see the counter app. This is a simple application, and what I did is actually just implement the ObjectBox database in my application and use the functionality to show the counter number in my other application. This application is nothing rather than just reading data or reading the counter number from the sync server. So in our counter application, every time we click here on the increasing button, on this button, I increase the counter number. And what will happen is I increase the number and add this number in my database. And afterwards, I use the sync functionality to save this data, and from the sync server, my other application will read this number. Therefore, you can see that just in time, both numbers or both application counter number will change and will increase. The cool thing about ObjectBox is actually also, or the sync functionality, better to say, is if I'm going in my read data application and turn on the airplane mode so that I don't have any internet, and in my other application increase the number, the counter number. So because we don't have any internet, the counter number in the read data won't change. Now I will go back here and turn off the airplane mode. And as soon as I change the number, I think it takes a bit time, but afterwards it will just update the counter number. Oh, this is the right moment to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. And now let's go further. Amazing, guys. So far we know what ObjectBox is, what the sync functionality of ObjectBox is, and how they are working. Now let's jump into our tutorial and implement some code together. Okay, so I create some order, and for example, I can add this one. I can add 2-time rice with chicken. So in general, I have 3, and this is red. The background color is red as long as I didn't confirm that. And as soon as I confirm that, it will get green, and the chef is sure that you order these dishes and he will start to create it. So if you would like to follow me in this tutorial, please check out the link in the video description below to the GitHub repository. you can find the GitHub repository, and if you check it out, you will see this mono repository, which is the ObjectBox tutorial, and there we have two branches. The first one is the master, where you can find all the solution, and the other one is the to-do ObjectBox tutorial, which I will check it out, and here we can go through the different to-dos. The first thing, like any other application, is to add the dependencies. For adding the dependencies, I will head to the official documentation of ObjectBox. Here you have the getting started, and you can find everything which you need for your project. I need the dependency. For that, I need the ObjectBox dependency, which is my to-do number 0. I will add this one. I think there are already newer versions, so update the package here. Add ObjectBox dependency. The second one is add the sync Flutterlips dependency, which is not this one, but here is mentioned for ObjectBox sync, use this dependency. So I will just copy this one and here paste it and get rid of this to do. As next, we need the build runner and the ObjectBox generator, which are these both dependencies. Copy and paste here, format it, and get rid of these both to do. For the build runner, we have also newer packages, which I will update it and go for the pop get here. Now, as next, we will go to the lib folder, and here we will start or continue with the to-dos in the item model. The first to-do is create an entity item model with ID. So I will create a class and call it item model, and I will annotate this with entity. And after that, we have an ID, which I initialize it with 0. We have a string item name, and we have an other integer, which is item count parameter. Perfect. Then we want to also tell ObjectBox this class or this entity is also a sync entity, and we want also to have it as an object in our sync server. I will add the annotation sync here to my class. Get rid of the first two to-dos. After that, create a constructor. So I'll just come here. I need an item model. I prefer to have name constructor. So this is gonna be a required parameter. I need always my item name, and I need also my item count. And get rid of the next to-do. Before I head to to-do number 5, I will go to the to-do number 3, which is gonna be in our next model. We will come back to this to-do later. In the order model file, we need an entity again. So I need entity, and here I need a class order model. My class has also an ID and a Boolean flag, which is ordered. The initial parameter of false. And here I import the object box, and this class is also an object that we want to have it in sync server, or we want to communicate it in our sync server. Therefore, add the sync annotation. In ObjectBox, we have different relations. With relations, we will connect different models to each other. For example, we have here an order model, and our order will contains different items, and our item is just for one model. We can define them with the different relations. So what we have to create here is a variable, and I will call it items. And what we should do is create a too many relation here from type item model, we will import this one. And we need also an annotation with the back link. With that, we will link our order model to the item model, to the target object. So get rid of the to-do number 4 and go to the last to-do in our item model. Create a one-to-one relationship with order model. So I will create other variable, call it order model here, and say this is one relation with. We have all the annotations, and as next we can run here in the order app the build runner, so that we get the generated files. So the build runner is finished, and if we have a look, we can see here that we have now 2 new files. The ObjectBox G, or the G file, is created as a Dart file, which we are going to use in our whole application, and single file, which we will use as the ObjectBox model, is the schema for our server, and we will use it in this project and also in any other projects which we want to use and to sync with this file. And also we will add it in the schema in our server later. Now let's go back to our to-dos. We have 2 screens. We have a home screen where we have a button where is mentioned create an order, and then we have an order screen. Let's go here to the home screen. So starting from the top, we need here to initialize a store and the order box as the to-do number 6. Now coming to the init state. Here we have a couple of to-dos. So we will have a store which can be null. I will create the store. Then we have to initialize an order box, which is from type box, from order model. And then we will have an other box from item model, and this can also be null, and this is our item box. Get rid of the next to do. Now coming to the init state. Here we have a couple of to-dos. We have to check for the correct IP address for the sync server, and we have to open the store and connect the sync server. Let's start with to-do number 8. We will open store, and here the value that we are getting is store. Now let's convert that arrow to the block body and set our store to store here. Right. Then we have to connect the sync server. We will start the sync server later. I will show you how we can do it. But for now, we want to start the sync server. We want to write the sync and then the client, and we have here some parameters. The store is the store that we set it right now, and then we have a server URI. And here what I will need just a local variable. And what I need here is, because we have a different server IP for Android and iOS, I will here go and check my platform. And is Android. Let's import the data. And if this is iOS, we will have 127001. You can actually find both of them also in the documentation of the ObjectBox. So we check for the correct IP address according to the platform, and then open a store and connect the sync server with that sync client. And last but not least, we will open a box an order box that we created from a store. So I will call the store, and here we will have a box, and this is going to be from type order model. The next to do is close the store. Oops. Don't forget to close your store in the dispose method. So we said it can be null. And here we have the elevated button, which has create your order. And what we want to do is, as soon as we create this button, we want to have a new order model. So I need here an order model. And then I want to navigate to the next screen. Okay, here, what is that is preferred to be a const. And in our to-do, we have to pass the order box and the order model actually. So because I didn't initialize these parameters, I don't get any error in my home screen. But I can do it right now, and after that come back here. And here, in the order screen, I need 2 parameters. And now I can go back to my home screen and say we have an order model which we create here. And then we have an order box, which is our box. Or is the order box? It's this one, and I think I call it somehow different. This is the order box. Okay, and we'll have it here. And pass it. Now I can get rid of the last to do here in this screen and head to the order screen. So in the order screen, we have a list of dishes which are from item model, this to do. So perfect. What we are doing here in this screen is we have a list of different dishes, and each dish has 2 buttons. A button which we can increase with that the quantity of our item, and after that save our order model, and another item which is a minus item, and we will check if the item count is 0. If this is case, we don't decrease the item quantity anymore and we will return. But if this is not the case and we have 2, 3, whatever, we will reduce the item number, and after that go for the save order model. And in the save order model, we have our next to-dos. So go back to our save order model method, which we call on the plus and minus button. The first to do is add the item into the order model. So I will call the widget, and here we have the order model, which can be null. And what we are doing is we'll call the items, and here we'll add the items with the index that we have, and add this item to our order model. The second thing is we should save this one to our order box. So I will go and call my order box and put here the order model. So we'll go to the up, past the widget and order model here, which we have it actually. Last but not least, we will call the set state here. And with that, we save the order in our model. Now get rid of these 3 to-dos and go for the last to-dos. Here we have the elevated button, which is our confirm button. So I will show you, we will create here our order, and this is my confirm button. Here we have to set ordered to true on order model. This is the first to-do which we have to implement. So we will call from the widget our order model, and here we go and set the order to true. And last but not least, we should save the order model into our order box. So here I will call again my order box here and put my order model in it. And last but not least, we call the navigator.pop to come back to our home screen and get rid of these both to-dos. But before I'm going to set up the server, I would like also to go through our Chef app. For the Chef app, I didn't create any to-dos because it's very, very similar actually to our order app. It's not happening any fancy stuff there. There are just a couple of things which we have to keep in mind. We have here in our Chef app also the same item model and order model. So they are exactly the same as in our order application. And when we are or we run the build runner, we will get also here the G file and also the ObjectBox model JSON file. But don't forget, if you create, I don't know, somehow a different ObjectBox model, you have go to the initial app, which is for me, the order app, and go here and go to the ObjectBox model JSON file, copy this one, and you will paste this one so that you use everywhere in your application, in your different application, the same ObjectBox model JSON. And this is also the file which we are using later on in our server. So we have here a main.dart, which is this one, and here we call the customer order screen. And if you have a look here in the code, what we are doing is pretty similar. We have here also a store, we have an order box. One additional thing which we have here is a stream. Here we consume the stream to get changes which we have in our database. And our stream is actually nothing rather than a store watch. And with your watch, we create a stream to get the data changes on our entity, which is the order model. And now to consume our stream, I used here a stream builder, which I pass here a stream, and here I have snapshot. I use the snapshot to check if this snapshot has any order. If this is the case, I will show the text widget with error. And in other case, if our snapshot has some data, I will check it. I create here a list of order model where I get all the orders. I reverse my orders so that I can show the chef in the kitchen the newest order at the top of my app or screen. And here what we are doing is, if the order is not empty, we will go just for a list view separated and create a row with 2 tags and show the item name and the item count in our application. And yeah, that's it actually pretty much. And if I don't have any data, I show here the circular progress indicator, which is at the moment the case. Now we are coming pretty much to the last steps of our tutorial. The last step is to create or to set up a sync server. Till now, we set up 2 sync client, which is the order app and the chef app. And now we need a server. For that, ObjectBox provides different options. And here in the documentation, you can go through it and read it. It's very well written, as I mentioned before, and we have different options. I decided for the Docker distribution, but you can also go to the advanced sync and use an embedded sync server, which means you can have your phone, your tablet, or some other devices, Internet of Things or something like that, as a server. Important thing is, for setting up your server, or for in our example, you need a sync server. For that, I went to the docker.com come and here install the Docker for my MacBook. So here I'm going to the official documentation, and here's everything is explained. What I need is the sync server.tar file. I have it and I put it here in a file object sync server. Now I will go to my terminal. For sure I have off at first run the Docker. What I do is here Docker load input, and here is the path to my tar file. I run this command, and after that we can see that the loaded image is ObjectBox IO. Now let's go here to our Docker file, and we can see here the new image. And we don't have it still in the container. The next thing what we have to do is we have to run our image. For that, we should go to the next step and run this command. So let's go to our project. What I did is we have here a chef app, we have an order app, and in order app we have the ObjectBox JSON file. We need this file when we want to start our server. I copied this file, and we have here another file which you can also find in the repository, and here I will just paste my file here in the data so that is overwritten, and I'm sure that all three files are the same. What we are writing is here actually we will run the Docker and run the server on it. One thing which is important is the path of this ObjectBox model JSON file. So this is now in my data ObjectBox, which we have it here, and I don't use any authentication, so I used here just unsecured or no authentication. If you want to have another authentication, just go to the documentation of the ObjectBox and see for the different options that you have. With that, we run the server. And here, if I have a look here, I can see here that I can call the dashboard, the ObjectBox dashboard here. So we don't have still any order model or any item model. Therefore, my chef app doesn't show any data. Now, as soon as I confirm that, we can see that our order is getting green, and our chef in the kitchen can start to cook our order. And here we go with the second order and third order and further and so forth and so on. Amazing, guys. That is our application which we implemented and used the ObjectBox and the sync functionality of ObjectBox to have just-in-time data. All right, everyone. Today, we learned together what ObjectBox is and why you should consider to use the ObjectBox and the sync functionality in your next project. For that, we had a look in the Flutter Counter app and saw how the sync and the ObjectBox is implemented in it and how does it work. And after that, we implemented together two restaurant applications, one of them for order some dishes, and the second one to sync it with the kitchen and that the chef of the kitchen can see your order and prepare your meal. So hopefully you can implement it as next in your own application. Great, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. And thanks once more to our sponsor ObjectBox for making this video possible. And now, if you haven't yet, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Have an amazing time and see you soon. In the Flutter Counter app, we had a look and saw how the ObjectBox works and how the sync functionality is working. This can be, for example, your phone, your tablet, or any infrastructure, such as Hive, SQLite, or other databases, and also and if you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button. Have a great day and see you soon.